4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We will partner with industry. We will invest in cutting-edge research and technology. We will set far-reaching milestones and provide the resources to reach those milestones. And step by step, we will push the boundaries not only of where we can go, but what we can do.
Until 2002, astronauts were sponsored and trained exclusively by governments, either by the military or by civilian space agencies. With the suborbital spaceflight of the privately funded Spaceship One in 2004, a new category of astronaut was created, the commercial astronaut.
Wow, cool! Commercial astronaut? How high do you have to go to fly into space?
The Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, or FAI, recognizes flights of 100 kilometers, or 62 miles in altitude as human spaceflight. This altitude of 100 kilometers above sea level is called the Kármán line.
How many people have traveled to space?
As of June 2011, just over 500 people have reached the 100-kilometer mark, and only 24 have traveled beyond low Earth orbit. It is projected that within 10 years, the number of people who will have flown into space will increase by about 600% due to the increasing market of suborbital spaceflight.
What is the difference between orbital and suborbital spaceflight?
Orbital spaceflight is when a spacecraft is placed on a trajectory where it can remain in space above 100 kilometers, or at least one orbit of Earth. To remain in orbit at this altitude requires an orbital speed of approximately 7.8 kilometers per second. Suborbital spaceflight is when a vehicle is launched from Earth that reaches 100 kilometers or 62 miles above sea level and then returns to Earth without completing an orbit.
We're announcing today something called the X Prize, a $10 million contest to privately build a spaceship that's able to carry 3 individuals, fly to 100 kilometers altitude, and do that twice inside of 2 weeks.
The purpose of the X Prize is to encourage radical breakthroughs benefiting humanity. The Ansari X Prize was inspired by early 20th century aviation prizes, such as the Orteig Prize, won by Charles Lindbergh in 1927. Developed and flown by Mojave Space Ventures, Spaceship One was awarded the Ansari X Prize in 2004. The ship, powered by a hybrid rocket motor that combined nitrous oxide as the oxidizer with a rubber compound fuel, was carried up by the White Knight and then launched into the upper atmosphere. A valve control system allowed the oxidizer and the fuel to mix, and the motor to be throttled or shut down as needed. This system pushed the craft to Mach 3. The project was called Tier 1 and has since evolved into Virgin Galactic Tier 1B, with the goal of taking a 2-person crew and 6 passengers into space aboard Spaceship Two.
How do people prepare for a trip on Spaceship Two?
They train with a Virgin Galactic crew for 2 to 3 days for the spaceflight experience. Medical checks and basic emergency response training is top priority and is followed by familiarizing participants with basic spaceflight environments. After launch, Spaceship Two will reach speeds of nearly 2,500 miles per hour, over 3 times the speed of sound. Once in space, the rocket motor will be switched off, and the silence of space will take over. Passengers will be allowed to leave their seats, where there will be no up and no down, and they are free to roam the cabin in 0G. Once out of the atmosphere, the entire tail structure of Spaceship Two can be rotated upward to about 65 degrees. The feathered tail design eliminates the need for sophisticated computer-driven control systems. Thermal protection systems, such as heat shields or tiles, are no longer necessary. After re-entry at around 70,000 feet, the feather lowers to its original configuration as the spaceship becomes a glider on its descent back to the spaceport runway.